Last but certainly not least, I will be streaming and broadcasting as well in my Faith, Grit, and Grind community. So let's see. This is the first time that I am streaming there. Certainly not least. Okay, so let's make sure that y'all are not hearing that. Hey. All right, this is the backstage. This is the backstage. Entering that allows you to meet with co-hosts before starting the broadcast. Let's just go on ahead and get into. All right. Okay, so I'm going to change my setup a bit because it's a little bit dark where I had it originally so that they can see me on broadcasts here. So you all, thank you for your patience while I get this set up going. It's been, this is the first time I will be streaming into the community, and I'm excited about that. And so Clubhouse is here, Wisdom is here. We had a little bit of trouble when I was testing out Facebook and Instagram, but that's fine. So here we go. Is this live? Initializing, getting ready. Y'all, we're almost ready. It's initializing still. See how long it's going to take to get going. But again, thank you so much for you all joining me here. Today during, we got to get Zoom going. And I almost did it again. Did I not turn on my video on Zoom? So sorry about that, YouTube. Let me go ahead and get there you go. And you see my little guy in the back. I don't want him on the computer, so I'm going to turn it like that. All right, there we go. Okay, so everybody is here. We're taking roll, okay? YouTube, are you here? Yes, you're here. My precious community, are you here? Yes, you are here. Let's see. Hey, Wisdom. Hey. Wisdom is here. And now we have Clubhouse. Okay, everybody's here. Almost everybody's here. We'll figure out how to get Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. No. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We'll figure them out. Get them sorted out. I have plenty more devices, okay? I want y'all to know that y'all should be recycling some of these devices that you no longer use as your primary device, especially if you have a business. Come on, let's get all of these platforms going. Now that's interesting. I hope that when the screen times out on the laptop that you all don't go anywhere, but this is the first dry run. I'm so excited. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the content. Welcome. This is Launch Talk Cafe. My name is Avery Pink-Lewin, and Wisdom, y'all have been just amazing over the last 2 months that I've been broadcasting on Wisdom. Been here on Clubhouse for quite a while, like about 2 years almost, broadcasting here on Clubhouse. And to my beautiful community, thank you so much for entrusting me and for supporting and making the commitment to yourself by taking action and joining my community. I'm excited to have you here. This is the first of many Launch Talk Cafes. And let me tell you a little bit about Launch Talk Cafe. So those of you on Clubhouse, you've heard this broadcast before. This actually is the name of one of my clubs on Clubhouse. But right now I am broadcasting from the Kingdom Wealth Collective Club, my club on Clubhouse. And what I decided to do was stay with the Kingdom Wealth Collective and launch and do some of my content under that broadcast. So for Launch Talk Cafe, what I've decided to do is give some of the content out, do it as I've been doing it online. However, I will have an extended version for those of you here in my community. So this is where we're going to get a little bit more of a deep dive after the broadcast is ended on Clubhouse and on Wisdom and on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Instagram. After we close down all those social media profiles and I'm no longer broadcasting to the profiles, I will turn my attention to you all here in the community, and you get to ask me whatever questions you have. We get to have this conversation and talk amongst ourselves so that y'all get the meat and potatoes. And I'll have a couple of extra points and topics, and then give you all some of my recommended strategies and where you can go to put some of these things that what I talk about on Launch Talk during the Launch Talk Cafe. Some of the things that I talk about, you'll be able to actually put them into action. Because one of the biggest things about me is not just about talking about the thing that you want to do, but it has to be backed up by what you actually do, the action that you take. And as you will come to know, if you're just meeting me, or those of you who have already been following me for a while, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. You will hear me say that over and over and over again. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. And that simply means that you just cannot wish for a thing. You just cannot want for a thing, and then it's going to happen. I know these people out here with this universe talk have y'all thinking that all you have to do is dream it, wish it, want it, think it, feel it, and all of that. The end of the day is I stick to the kingdom principle that faith without works, without actions, without doing something is absolutely dead. Okay, so I stick to the ancient principles that are outlined in the book that I read from daily. So I think it's very important that we actually know how we're going to, not just what we want to accomplish, but how we're actually going to accomplish it. So, and that's why I have decided to really to dig my heels into Kingdom Wealth Collective. And this is kind of where I'm going to do most of my broadcasts here on Clubhouse for sure. And one of the things you should know is I named it Kingdom Wealth Collective intentionally because we are told that if as our soul prosper, that's how we prosper. Those are the things that are concerning us will prosper as our soul prospers. So the whole goal of Kingdom Wealth Collective is to really go back to the basics of things of God and things of the kingdom so that we will begin to prosper. And as our soul prospers, thereby everything else will line up, because that's what he said. That's what his word said. It is so, and his word will not return to him void. So that being said, I am also broadcasting with my little guy. He is my co-worker, as I am now remote working from home. I'm on my right now I've taken some time off from work for my birthday. September 24th. Hey, Fitz, good to see you. My birthday is September 24th, exactly 100 days from the new year. And this day and age, I take off weeks for my birthday from work. Okay, I have the time and I take weeks off. So I'm on week number 3. So my birthday, what is this? Yeah, 3 weeks off for my birthday. In the 3rd week. So yeah, listen, you just gotta, if you have the ability to take the time that you need, take the time that you need. I truly do love what I do. I love where I work, but listen, you got to take some time for yourself. So I've decided, I used to start out with my birthdays for 1 day, maybe 2 days. It turned into a week. Now, listen, if it's less than 3 weeks, something is going on. It's likely going to be more like 4 to 5. Okay. But that's just how I do. Let that sit there and simmer for somebody who needs to stop being a workaholic and go ahead and take some time for yourself. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about today in Launch Talk Cafe was the theme of today is what is it? I said it was what is it? Money Milestone Monday. Okay, this is a Money Milestone Monday. And I said before in the beginning of the year and all throughout this year on social media, some of the things that I've been talking about was I want to lean into this conversation about money, especially the bulk of my community and the people who follow me are women. And as women, we tend to have a different way of relating to money, right? Especially women in business and especially women of faith. We tend to have a different kind of perspective as it comes to money. And I want to lean into that money conversation because as I lean into it, I'm also freeing myself from those ties that bind me to a very distorted mindset around money and around my ability to make money and want to have the most. I'm leaning into what the word tells me is mine by do right as a daughter of the Most High God. I don't know why we shy away from that, but listen, I was one of them too. I'm no longer going to do that. I am intentionally leaning into this money conversation as a woman of faith, a woman of God. I definitely am not all about money, but look at here, look at here, look at here. I've always been a giver. I have given off the shirt off my back. I have walked, using that analogy, I will walk around like the emperor in his new clothes because I wanted to support and give. Giving is not an issue. The problem is giving out of lack is a huge issue. It's not really given, and it certainly is not wise. And there's so many things that we do. We have a heart to give as women. We have a heart to support and to pour into others. But for whatever reason, when it comes and is flipping the other way, we tend to shy away from it. We don't really want to. This whole thing about charging your worth, I don't subscribe to charge your worth. No one can ever pay me a check, cut me a check for my worth. But I want to get paid what I know my time is valued at. Now, when I was younger in my entrepreneurial days, when it was just me, I could do things for free. I could do things for a ridiculously low price. I could do things where I didn't chase anybody down for an invoice because, they're like, oh, I'm going to pay. And it takes them like, a year and a half to actually pay that invoice. Ridiculous. Doesn't matter the amount. Those are the things that are happening out in the streets for you all. And I know some of y'all can relate to it as you are maturing in your business. The reality is now I am definitely a little bit, way more seasoned, right? I'm almost 20 years into this entrepreneurial game. I'm also at a different time and space in my life. Okay, I'm at a space where, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. I have people who depend on me, and I am very seasoned in the things that I do in my business. I'm very I'm very trained. I am a professional. I am definitely a subject matter expert in the areas of my business. And I'm trained by the highest of the best in that, that you can be trained by in the area of communication and marketing strategy. And at the end of the day, what I am going to say is I've put money into that. My employers have put money into that. I've been able to get folks to send me to institutions of higher learning to get this training so that I can be better on my job. And thereby it made me a more marketable asset individually because that knowledge is now with me. I'm not going to I'm not going to give that away for free anymore. I'm not going to give it away for a ridiculously discounted price. It does not make sense. It is not serving anybody to do that. And I want that message to really resonate with anyone who's struggling. So today on Money Milestone Monday, I used to have and I'm not going to say used to, I still do. I have a program called Your First 5K. And at the time where I created that program, the goal was to help my clients get through to their first 5K milestone. And I remember when I got to my first 5K milestone in my business, it was like, oh my gosh, I could not believe it. And the first time I hit 5K in 1 month, it was like, wow, I can't believe I hit 5K in 1 month. And then I hit 5K in 1 day. And I was like, oh my, this thing is for real, not for fake. And then I had a 5K service offering. The service was actually 7.5K. And when that invoice came in, I said, oh, Lord, why didn't I know this earlier? This is crazy. And I'm not just throwing random numbers out there, but as you see the evolution of myself in my business, as I look back on the things that I have evolved in my business, I realize that it's not a matter of just throwing, products and services out there. It is a matter of how I value what my service offering is and how I make sure that it meets the need and the expectation of the individual who is buying. Okay. Those of you in my community, I am concentrating on YouTube right now because this video will live on YouTube. But when we do cut the feed, you will have my full attention. So know that I appreciate you, but I am going to be looking at the YouTube feed, Clubhouse and Wisdom, their audio apps. So y'all can't even tell that I wasn't looking to you anyway. So, but I want you all to know that, that I do appreciate you. And when we cut the feed from the social media, then we'll be able to talk and get down in the weeds of what y'all are doing. So just hold on with me, bear with me, and we get through this content. Please write your questions down. Go ahead and any questions that you have for me, make sure you take it and we can put it into, I'll give you a little more context and maybe help you all to think through how you can implement, right? Remember that implementation is the key to execution, right? You can't finish something, you can't nail something that you haven't started. So let's so as I go through this content and as I talk through this information to be able to share with those on social media, then we'll go and we'll do more of the workshopping and the deep dive into what you all have going on. So that said, so I was talking about the fact that I used to have this 5K milestone, and I used to bring my clients to the point where they are securing their first 5K. And the logic behind that was, if you can make $1 on the internet, you can make 5,000. Just like if you can make $1 on the internet, you can make 10,000. You can make $1 million. I think the whole point was to show my clients how not easy, but how simple. And just by doing things simply in their business, they will inevitably get to the point where they are making 5K in their business. They've secured their first 5K. And then after that, they get to decide, hey, I know this works. People are paying me for X, Y, and Z. I'm showing up and I'm providing that service and I'm getting repeat customers. That is the key to knowing that what you're doing is really it matters to someone and many someone's. It's how long they hang around. Okay, it's easy for people to do a one and done from you. It's very easy nowadays on the internet to purchase something and you immediately have buyer's remorse, or you buy a course or something from someone and you never open it. That's not what we're going for. And I do not encourage any of my clients, and I don't know what this is right here, but it is distracting me. And then y'all probably didn't even see it until I pointed it out, but it is distracting me. I discourage my clients from ever focusing on the one sale. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit in the notes for today's live. Is never just about that one sale. That is not the way you measure your effectiveness in business, and certainly not how you're going to go the long distance in business. This is why, think about the companies that you frequent. They all have loyalty type programs. The goal is to encourage repeat buyers. And if people keep coming back, then that is an indication that what you have is not just valuable in the moment, but there's also this level of a trust that's being built so that they will think of you and come back for something else. You, especially in this account, when you're online and you're in this creator type economy, when we're all trying to establish ourselves in the area of expertise that we've branched out in business, is not a good indicator if we're not seeing people come back. If people aren't following, if you go away from the internet and it gets really silent in your channels and nobody kind of just jumps in your DM and say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, what's going on? That's not a good indication. Okay, I want you to know that's not good indication. We don't want to always see the measure and the metric is to be the likes or to have, all these numbers of people, because you run the risk of just growing wide and being very shallow, right? You're growing wide. You're extremely, I'm going to use the analogy of you're gaining all this weight, right? But you're not really healthy because they're not coming back. They're not engaged. You have a ton of followers, you post something and it's crickets in there. You don't want that either. Engagement is a true indicator of whether or not your brand, of how healthy your brand is connecting with those individuals or with the market that you are serving. And if you're not connecting, then that's problem number one. That's a huge problem. But anyway, I'll get into that a little bit later. I'm going to keep this. So we started off at 12:15, which is a little late. But because my setup didn't really work the way it was, I had to push it back. So I'm still going to try and get this done within the next 15 minutes for those of you here on social. And that way I can give my community, yay, I'm so excited to say that. I'm going to give you all here in Faith, Grit, and Grind community in the Kingdom Wealth Connect Collective my attention and get into the nitty gritty of what you all are doing and what you all need. And some of you are here in my invitation. So I'm excited to hear about what you have going on and give you an experience of what we'll be doing here in this community. So that being said, here's a couple things that I want you to think about. Let me just start off by saying so that was me then, encouraging and leading and guiding my clients towards their first 5K. And that's great. However, I've evolved, I've evolved well beyond that. I've been able to really build a structure in my business. So my goal now is to lead my clients to 10K months recurring. And the reason why I've switched it to very specifically helping my clients meet their 10K per month recurring revenue milestone, that is a huge game changer in your business. Think about the fact that you have 10K rolling in every month in your business as a recurring, like if what you have built, you have built it in such a way that your projection for this month is 10,000. Your projection for next month is 10,000. Your projection for the month after is 10,000. Now, obviously, once you see that happening, let me tell you, I tend to border on this whole, I think differently about the whole mindset piece versus just taking action. I believe that when you actually take action and you see the action working, that your mindset will shift very quickly. That's why I focus on action. Implementation. I call my people implementors, right? Entrepreneurs who actually do the work, who actually get things done. Implementors. And I believe that once you start seeing your bottom line shift, you start seeing how your bank account, the recurring revenue model is dope. I cannot tell you how, oh snap, I cannot believe I hadn't been recording this all the time, but it's okay. This is going to go on YouTube, so it's recorded somewhat, and it's still going to be in the community, so it's recorded there as well. I cannot tell you how, so in 2021, I launched a recurring revenue model in my own business. It was a joint effort between myself and my accountability partner. And neither one of us knew what we were getting into. Neither one of us had it on our radar that we were launching this thing. It was not a goal. It was not something, we literally just kind of walked up on it. And it was really a faith walk to say, God was like, keep going. And we're like, okay. And God was like, do this. And we were like, okay. And the lesson I learned from that is, because before that recurring revenue model, before that, I had been doing business as always, getting clients, doing the project, and, getting referrals. People would just send people my way. So there was always, I never had to do marketing in my business. However, there were periods of time where I just had no customers, no clients. And because, again, I'm in my 9-to-5, so there was this false padding, right? Of like, okay, well, I have no clients, I'm going to just go to work until somebody refers somebody to me. And, but then this recurring revenue model came up. And then I said, wow, this is so interesting that you did the work you did the work up front, and people, they engage with you, they take you up on your offer, they give you your credit card on a subscription, and then you just keep showing up for what they are subscribing for, and they keep subscribing, and you're just doing what you're doing, and it becomes a part of your business. And then as more people join, this is where I got the aha epiphany. It's not the factor of that rate coming in every month, onesie twosie. It's after it's 50 and 60 and 70 people times that rate. I want y'all to hear what I'm saying. It's the volume. It's how it multiplies, and multiplies quickly. That was the game changer for me, because I'm a math person. I've been saying it for years. Math is my favorite subject. I believe in math. I think that, every problem in the world can be solved with math. I do it in my life. Every time I have an issue, boy, math shows up and saves the day for me. I'm telling you, second to Holy Spirit doing this thing, but maybe Holy Spirit speaks math too, because I'm telling you, I love math and it's never steered me wrong. Um, so, but I will say that when that math started rolling in, and myself and my accountability partner was like, oh wow, this is something different. We weren't doing it for the money, but began to see why businesses have shifted, why there's this huge shift to a subscription model. Of course, there's more to it than how we were utilizing it, right? There's always this thing about data and making sure that you're getting it. You have these insights on the market and who you have and how many people is how much more data you can aggregate. And that's how much more information and how much more valuable a business is. And we weren't even on that level. Like we weren't even thinking about that. It was literally the shock to say, one day we didn't have this recurring model, the next day we did. And then after several months, like 3 or 4 months, then we began to see, oh, wow, this is really a thing. And why are we not doing this in our own businesses, right? The thing that we actually are doing. And that's where I've said, okay, like I said, math makes sense to me, my favorite subject. And when I saw that money math, I said, wow, I've been thinking about business all wrong. I've been thinking about how to build my empire all wrong. I've been thinking about how to structure my business all wrong. And so one of the things that I am head first in my own business is restructuring my service offering in a way that it is tailored around a recurring model. And doing so, I have built out a structure that no one else will see in another. My goal is to always bring value to my community and serve the crap out of them, so they know that they know whatever I'm doing is valuable to them. Like that's my goal. I never want someone to guess at the value that I'm providing. I never want someone to come into an experience with me and be like, I didn't get, because I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to spend. I'm not talking about like any chump change, like pennies, right? I'm talking about, I know what it is to spend thousands of dollars with one individual, one company, multiple one companies, and have a thought about being able to get this thing and it not living up to what it said, because it's almost like everything else. So you heard one promise, you heard the next, you heard it here, you heard it there. Somebody just has, instead of going ABC, they're going QXY. And at the end of the day, QXY, ABC, they're all letters, right? I hate to just simplify it like that. They're all letters. So for me, it was, how do I incorporate this recurring model, but build something that's never been seen or that's very rare? Because I certainly haven't come across it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because I've never looked at everything out there in existence, but I know that in the landscape that I've looked at, and I've been out here. I've been 20 years in the game. I've seen a lot of landscape. There's nothing that I've built, which is what you all here in my community, y'all are going to benefit from. So I'm excited about that. But as I go through this list, here's how I am now focused, and my mind is focused on helping my clients get to 10K recurring. And the reason why it's very important is because now that really changes the game. That alone, the 10K mark in your business every month is what you can look at as a verifier that what you're actually providing in the marketplace is not only needed and wanted, but it is valued, because people continue to subscribe. They keep their subscriptions up. Okay. And you're also able to, I'm a big person on data, and I that's not a secret to anyone who's seen me for a while. I don't believe in just kind of throwing willy-nilly numbers out there. I believe that there has to be something that verifies and validates the number that you're putting in the marketplace. So I think that, and I've always encouraged my clients to think about their business and in a business way. Like, you just don't say, this is what I'm doing because somebody gave me a cute quote and a meme on social media that says, I got to charge my worth. That's cute that you know your worth, but nobody else knows your worth, right? Which is even a misnomer, because again, I don't think anybody can cut me a check for my worth. So when I say charge your value, maybe you think you're extremely valuable. And I agree, you are extremely valuable, but your product and your service that you've put together may not be valuable as what you want from a pricing standpoint just yet. Maybe there's a little bit more refining and a little more tweaking and some other things that you can think about to increase the value of your product and your service so that people have no problem paying the price. Nobody kind of bucks at paying for something that they want. We see it all day, every day. I mean, people go to Starbucks and buy an $8 cup of coffee. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever when you have a Dunkin' Donuts right across the street, or you have, a neighborhood cafe that's right up the road. They'll drive past each and every one of them to go get their $7, $8 cup of coffee. Why does that make sense? Because that's what they want. It's not what they need. They don't even need coffee. They go to the grocery store, they can pick it up and they can brew it at home. That's not what people do. So you buy what you want. The problem is you're not letting them want it enough. You're not, and I'm not a sales kind of a person. I've always struggled in the area of sales. I like to give people what makes sense. I like to go on common sense and let people know, hey, listen, if this is what you want, I got this thing for you. If this is what you want to get and how you want to get it, sign up with me, period, point blank. We're not going to go back and forth on the salesy things. I'm not going to do all those tactics. I've never felt good about it. And I will tell you, I used to be a bill collector in college and I was horrible at it. Every day I would cry. They took me off because they thought I was a great person. They didn't want to just fire me. They took me off of it. They put me on the phones in the front desk. It was hilarious. Looking back at it now, it's hilarious, but I suck as being a bill collector. I'm not great at sales. And I don't like playing around with people because I don't like being played with. So it's just, I don't know if it's a block. It's just who I am. So I lean on the side of let's just build something people want, right? Let's just figure out what's going to actually help somebody, and you do that. So that that whole conversation about money is not a conversation about money. It's no longer a please buy my stuff. It's more of a, hey, this is an option for you. Take a look at it. If it meets your need, then let's go. I'm ready to go when you are, and boom, we move on. It's a beautiful way to do business. So with that, let's talk about some of the things that you need in order to get to that 10K revenue recurring model. And I have about 11 minutes to get this thing going. So 45 minutes for you all here on social, and then I will do the other 45 minutes exclusively in my community so that y'all can get what it is you need. And those of you who are joining me here as a guest, I welcome you. You haven't made the decision yet to pull the trigger, no problem. It's okay. You don't know this thing. And literally, I just built this thing. This is going on into action, and it's in motion. So you all are trusting me. Right at the beginning of this thing, like if you listen real carefully, you can hear the doctor smacking the butt of this community that I've built. That's how new it is. But I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait to share about all that I've done to make this a valuable exchange, not just for me, but you will get value from it as well. And you have no problem saying yes. I know you won't. It's just the way it is. But let's talk about the milestone of 10K per month and how you're going to get there. So some of the things that you really want to talk about, when I'm going to talk about from the perspective of what you absolutely must have and absolutely must do in order to meet this mark. So in terms of, like, you hear marketing all over the place, right? You hear marketing. I've been in this space forever, right? I've been in communications. I've been in branding, strategy, communication, all of that. Yes. I'm going to whittle this thing down, this whole little marketing landscape where everybody has, a different way of saying things. But at the end of the day, somebody got to want what you have, right? And you got to know how to position what you have in a way that somebody wants it. That's the crux, the oversimplification of your marketing efforts. Okay. Within that, you have your branding and your messaging. And when I say branding, yes, the visual aspect is there, but I tend to focus more, not just on the visual. The visual comes later. I never tell my clients to focus on the visual aspects. And there's several reasons why I do that, but I'm going to get the information out about the most important aspects of branding. While visuals is very important, the most important aspects of branding is going to be your positioning strategy, like where and how you show up in the market of your business, how like where exactly in the marketplace you fit, and how do you represent your brand against all the other brands competing in that space, that positioning piece. And then also your differentiation. Why are you different than all the other people in your space? Why is your solution, product, service, whatever it is, why is that different? And why is that difference a thing for anybody, right? But not just anybody, the people that you're actually targeting. I think it's it's an understated conversation that happens in the online branding space. There's a lot of fluff languages used about differentiation and stand out and all these other things, be unique and yada da da da. What does that even actually mean? Okay, I've been doing websites since 2003. I can tell you from first experience that many people who come from me to do their website, and I've done thousands of websites at this point. Like, I'm sure I've done thousands of websites over the last 20 years, because everybody for the last 20 years was coming up with side hustles and stuff. I mean, I'm not talking about intricate business. I'm talking about one-page websites, e-commerce websites, 5-page websites. I'm talking about, portfolios, online portfolios. I'm talking about variations of websites. I've done a gajillion of these things. And one thing for certain, two things for sure, most of my clients, and I'm going to venture to say 88% or higher, when they came in, had no clue when I asked them the question of, what do you want to say on your website, right? What do you want to say on your website? What they want to say is they're like, well, this is what I do. Okay, how do you do that? What is it that you're actually doing, so that I can be able to describe what makes you unique in your marketplace? What I used to get back was so either generic, that didn't really say anything. It was just a bunch of words. I mean, people will take like 20 minutes to say something that doesn't amount to anything. It's just so funny. And the reason why I zone in on that is, again, my background, my professional background is in communication. It's in marketing. Okay, it's in strategic communication. I've led $1 million initiatives for the largest corporations and governments across the globe. So communication is I love people and I love words, and I love see how people react to words and how people release words. It's a thing about me. That's what I geek out on. So I'm sitting there with clients, and I have to, I don't really have a good poker face. So they always can tell when they're losing me, and they just keep talking more as if that's going to connect the dots, because they're still not saying anything. They're just talking longer and saying nothing longer. It's an interesting dynamic. And maybe one day I'll I'll publish an article on, the psychology of nothing when in communication. Who knows? But I think it's really interesting to see how when people don't really know an answer, they fill it with just fluff. And they cannot pinpoint the meat and potatoes, the crux of what they mean. And then after asking, because I'm a question asker, again, if you follow me for a while, I ask a lot of questions. And because I ask a lot of questions, it is inevitably very frustrating to people. So at the end of the day, either they'll continue to engage my questions, or they'll say something like, here's somebody that does what I do, just copy what they did. And I'm like, and that's where I'll be like, pump your brakes. I am not copying. Number one, if I'm going to put my name on your website, I will not be copying anyone else's. That is a no-no. So you're going to have to figure out how to get this thing done. That led to the birth of me copywriting, for me offering a new service other than graphics and websites. Okay. That led to me saying, okay, let me sit down with you for an hour, pick your brain, and then I'll write your copy. I'll be able to write what you're doing on your website, and I'll be able to frame it in a way that makes sense. And that's when I was able to fuse my 9-to-5 with my freelancing and the things that I did for myself, right? And before then it was very separate, but I was like, okay, y'all need some help with the communication. That's what I did all day long, writing, messaging. My words have been featured in, publications, notable publications when they were a thing, right? Because newspapers are like on the decline, but New York Times, LA Times, USA Today, large publications. You've seen my work there. You go to your pharmacy and you're going to see, if you see a flyer or a poster with some kind of communication and guidance around a particular thing, chances are I worked on it. So my thing, my work has been all over the place. So when I tell you folks have challenges saying what they say, and I know it's a struggle, and it's not a struggle because they don't know what they do, and it's not a struggle because they're not good at what you do. It's just a struggle because you don't know how to put it in the right words, right? And that's kind of what led to that. And then of course I've been doing websites and resumes, and I was a vocational counselor. So even then, me having to tease out what people do so that they can actually excel in a interview and land a job. That's how I got all that experience. So it was just a no-brainer for me to say, okay, time out. Let me just make this more of a pleasant experience for both of us. You sit down, I'm going to interview you for an hour, and then I'm going to write your copy. So, you know, being able to really position yourself and then differentiate yourself is the foundation of being able to offer that value to somebody so they don't blink an eye when you tell them what your price is. It helps you be able to frame the context for them so that it's a no-brainer for them to choose you over the plethora of options that are in the marketplace on the internet. I mean, you're not the only business. I think the statistic is like the number of businesses filed daily in the United States is absurd. Okay, absurd, let alone globally. So think about the amount of websites that are being thrown up, the amount of profiles on social media. I mean, there's tons of people. I mean, it's a crowded and loud space. How do you get your voice heard? How do you stand out? How do you make sure that people see you and hear you and understand your offering? You've got to get that messaging clear. You've got to know from a branding standpoint, your positioning in the marketplace and the differentiator in the marketplace and your message. It's the foundation of everything, because the way that you develop your message and the information you have to think through is the same information that you have to think through to when you're thinking through what your actual business is. And it's not, you know, that's the foundations of a strong business, period. And why we have so many businesses that are like kind of hobbling along, trying to figure things out as they go, is because they didn't take time out to do that foundational work. So I'm telling you, this is, and I'm a very detailed person, so maybe that's why I love this part. But the foundations is really what you've got to nail. Okay, I have 1 minute to go through all these other points. That's not gonna happen. Y'all forgive me. I'm gonna borrow a couple minutes from you all here in the community so that I can get the rest of these points out. But I will learn how to keep it concise and get, but I just, like I said, this is a casual environment for me to, okay. And now I'm competing with my little guy's iPad. Turn it down, honey. Yeah, so anyway, so it's the branding piece, but very specifically about branding. The visuals come later. The visuals come when you have data that actually supports why you're using the visuals that you're using. A mistake that most people make is, I like this color, so this is going to be my color in my business. Okay, that's cute, but are you selling to yourself? Well, I see this person who's killing it in online, or who's rocking it, or she's banking, or he's doing this thing. They use these colors and I want to model that because I want their success. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Now, it's not a bad place to start, but I want to remind you all that we have evolved somewhat in the online space, and there's no need for you to be guessing at these things now. There's so many resources out there for you to be able to just read and go through and be like, you know what? Here's some of the things that you need to consider. Here's some things that you need to take into consideration, but also here's some information about your target market that you may not have known, that you want to also think about as you make these key decisions in your business. That's what I call them, key decisions. And after you make these key decisions, now you're able to, informed by either data or some kind of, you know, reputable information, that this is how you're going to be able to build a business that will appeal to the right people, not just off of your own personal thoughts or your own personal taste, which is not something that businesses that have a desire to stand the course of time, right? We're not talking about something that's going to end when you decide, I'm done with this business. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. This was cute while it was cool while it lasted. And you know what? I'm not going to do something else. If that's your thing, then, you know, fine, you know, start it however you want. Hey, shh. If that's your thing, start it however you want. But at the end of the day, if you are trying to build something that exists beyond you, you know, we like to talk about this whole legacy. We like to talk about, oh, generational wealth. We like, you know, and I say it like this because I have a segment that I do on Clubhouse called Slaying Soundbites. And I go after all these cute little cliches that people say, and everybody says the same thing. I'm a messaging strategist. I tell you to stop saying all these crazy things because everyone sounds the same and you're washing yourself out. But that's a digression. Let me just stay to the point of how to get to your 10K per month. But I will come after a soundbite in a second, okay? And cut that thing up because I cannot stand it. And as somebody who I want my clients to succeed by standing out, right? Even that is a cliche, but I want you to have your own voice. Yes, even that is a cliche, but even in chopping it down to make it an easy, quick, understandable bite, there is a way that you message that so that people know what you're talking about and what you mean by that. So you don't have to use this talking point because what that means for somebody is it means something else. Anyway, let me just keep going to the topic at hand because I'm on borrowed time. I'm on 3 minutes borrowed time, and I want to make sure that my community gets the attention that I said they're gonna get. Yeah, so I'm excited. So this is the first broadcast in the community. But anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so so it's the branding and it's your messaging. Okay, your messaging is so important. It's critical. I already kind of I know I said that. We also talk about your launch strategy. I want you to talk about your launch strategy. Hear me when I say. Did you just turn the thing up louder? Too loud. Hear me when I say and I emphasize the word strategy. Okay, strategy. It has to be built on something. What are you doing and why are you doing? What are you doing and why are you doing? Okay. You just can't be like, yes, I'm all about going with the gut. I think your gut is always going to steer you right. I say that tongue in cheek. But you can't be going off a gut all the time. You heard me say that you need some data to inform your decision making. You heard me say that you need some kind of something to back what you're doing that's going to validate it. I mean, you need to be able to say, this is going to work because X, Y, and Z. The gut part is, I'm going to choose this over that because of X, Y, and Z, right? Because there's something guiding that decision. Strategy, y'all, strategy. There has to be strategy. We just not winging this thing. Yes, many of us build a plane while we fly it. In 2022, look, I'm even in the wait, what year is this? In 2022, and the reason why I'm a little bit unclear is if you follow me on social media, you know that I also, in addition to observing the Gregorian calendar like 2022, I also follow the Hebraic calendar, and we're in the year 5783. And so I have this dual thing going on. So I got twisted up for a second, but yes, in 2022, there's no excuse. There's too much information out there. There's too many people screaming at the top of their lungs trying to get attention on the internet. There's too many places. There's too many. You could type it into Google and get a gajillion million hits. There's no excuse for you to be just kind of winging it and then expect people to pay you for that. No, cut it out. Ooh. I'm thankful that consumers are way more savvy in 2022 than they were just 2 years ago. I am thankful, okay, because it makes us entrepreneurs work to earn what we are actually putting out there. Those who, it makes the unscrupulous think twice. And it makes sure that those of us who strive for integrity, yes, that we are integrous when we do what things that we do and we build what we build. It keeps us in a place where, and yes, there are people that still don't really care, but for the bulk of people, I believe that there's this inherent good out there that it keeps us honest and it keeps us really in a position to serve. So, man, let's just not wing this thing, okay? Let's get some strategy. And strategy has a double benefit, right? It helps you get clear on what you're actually doing, but it also gives you some metrics by which to actually see if what you're doing works and not work. So you can stop doing what doesn't work and you can keep doing what does, right? We're talking about getting to 10K recurring. You want to not do things that are not going to work, and you want to start doing things that are going to work. And how do you know if you didn't put a strategy in place, write it down and execute it so that you can go back and review it and evaluate it? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a process. It is a process. It is not easy, but it is simple. It is a process that you can follow, and it has been tried and tested. And no, it's not as sexy as, you know, the latest, greatest tech thing that just came out. Or I don't even think Silicon Valley is as sexy as it was in the 90s, right? Everybody thought that the best things are coming out of Silicon Valley. Okay, that's cute. But let's talk about the tried and true. Let's talk about tried and true that's not being marketed to y'all because it's not sexy. Okay, that's where the meat and potatoes handle. They handle that behind the closed doors. That's not where the glossy, shiny stuff that makes you want to be like, ooh, hey, take my money. You're not going to hear about that in the ads, but that's what's happening behind the closed doors. Okay. When I write a contract to get these firms, these large consulting firms onto into my employer, and we're shelling out millions of dollars, of hundreds of millions of dollars, you better believe that it's these tried and true principles and practices that they're coming through the door with. Yeah, it may have a little, you know, spin on it, but when you roll back the glamour and you roll back the glitz, tried and true practices. Okay, I'm gonna borrow time, y'all. I'm trying to land my plane. Y'all stay with me. Let's see. So so that's your launch strategy. Okay, what are you going to do when you get out there? So we've done the work of thinking through your branding, your messaging. That's really two really big key parts of your business strategy. So you got a good solid foundation as to what you're doing. Okay, so now you know, you have clarity around why you're even showing up in the marketplace. Now we're going to talk about how you show up in the marketplace and what you're actually doing. Okay, so this about the launch strategy. This is where you take the eyes off of you and you turn it onto your people. Okay, this is where you actually think about who are your customers, right? And of course, you have that thought and conversation when you're thinking about your business, but when you're actually getting in the marketplace and getting in front of people, this is where you have to now start, take the camera off of you and your needs and turn it on to the people in their space and what they need. So you're trying to, this is where we talk about finding your audience, learning how to speak to their pain, learning how to understand what they need, what they want, walking in their shoes. As a communication professional, I would like to tell you that communication is so critical. Whenever relationships fail, the number one thing that causes relationships to fail is communication. And all business is a transactional relationship. And when your business fails, it's likely your communication sucked. Certainly your finances sucked. But either your finances, your financial projections, or whoever you had up in the financial office, they had a little bit of struggle too. But the communication is the burden of the sender to ensure that the receiver understands. And many of us don't understand that initially. That's why so many issues are in life. Like it's a life principle. Communication will fix a lot of things in our life, but whatever. I'm definitely squirreling on that one. But I did want to plug that when you're looking in the marketplace and what you're doing, your focus should now be on your customer. What do they want? What do they like? What do they need? What do they want? Who are they? Right? Where do they hang out? What do they need to hear from you? And not just saying what they need to hear so that they buy, but saying what they need to hear because that's what you built for them to actually support whatever the need is that you're addressing, right? You hear it all the time on social. What's the problem that you're solving? So that's the whole point about the customer. And then also knowing how to bring in buyers. That's a huge thing. Learning who your audience is very different than bringing in buyers. Okay. This is the point where marketing and sales kind of intersect. Buyers, business, bottom line. Another one of them sound bites that I go chasing after is this whole, oh, it's my passion. I would do it for free. Then baby, just go ahead and do it for free. Do not go and don't go to your Secretary of State and register. Do not open a business bank account. Do not do any of these other things. And certainly do not go and collect 300 or 200, right? Those of you who play Monopoly, don't do that. Just stay in your passion lane and do what you're doing with passion. There's no need to call yourself a business entity. Because if you're not planning on getting money for it, you're not a business. I'm letting that one simmer. I'm freeing somebody today. You have the ability. No one says you ever have to register an entity to follow your passion. And remember, I'm leaning into a money conversation for women because we like to say things like, I would do it for free. This is what I love to do. I just want to help everybody. And that is very noble. And I love that. And I've said it myself. The problem is you said you wanted to start a business. And when you did that, you changed the rules. I tell my brothers and sisters in Christ all the time, when we said we're going to serve God, we put down our own will and we picked up his. We changed the rules. If you wanted to do what you wanted to do for your entire life, the way you wanted to do it, then you should have not. I'm never going to tell nobody not to get saved. I'm never going to say that. That blood will not be on my hands. But I want you to think about that. When you said you was going to do a life according to how he said, according to his principles, his will, his plan, his purpose, there's nothing in there for you. That is another squirrel. There's a lot of squirrels coming today, but I don't know who's listening to me and who needs that. So with that being said, we want to bring in buyers. We need to bring in buyers, not just
Mommy.
Yes, baby. Okay, 1 second. I'm bringing Poco. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I know I should have wrapped this thing up because now he's wanting me to go and turn on the TV. Give me 1 second. This is so not cool. Yes, baby. Yes, baby. Yes, honey, I'm gonna put it on. This boy had me come and stop my broadcast so that I can turn on a show for him, and he walks right away. Okay, so I was admitting that I was squirreling. Thank you all for holding on in there with me while I squirreled. Anyway, let's keep going. We want to bring in buyers. It's extremely important. That's the lifeblood of your business. That is so that you don't have to pay out of pocket for everything that you have created. There's so many benefits to having an actual business. You want to be able to benefit from that. And if you're just constantly pouring out without really making sure that you're bringing in, that you're actually bringing in income and that you're actually running your business as a business, then you're just setting it up for failure. And that 10K mark is elusive. You know, it's not even going to be real 10K because you're not even tracking you're not tracking any metrics. You're not tracking anything like a business would do anyway. So you don't even know if it's really 10K, if it's like 2K after all your expenses, because you're not really focused on revenue. You're not really focused on bringing in income. It's just not a good place to be. So in order to get to that 10K recurring, you want to be able to know how to bring in buyers, and you're bringing in buyers is extremely important. I emphasize that. Many people say, you want to increase your sales. That's cute. But I say, and I tell my folks, we're going to bring in buyers, because in bringing in buyers, you actually focus on what they are buying. So you definitely built what they needed, and you can produce the service, the product, the end result that they are looking for. That will help to ensure that they are satisfied. Customer satisfaction is number one. Customer service, which is then leading to customer retention. You want to keep this in mind, okay? The easiest money to make is money you've already made, okay? You were successful in getting the credit card once. You were successful in getting the sale once. You were able to bring them in. You want to keep them in. You want to keep them satisfied. You want to keep them moving along towards this end result that they are seeking. So it's very important. And then you want to talk. Okay. All right. That's him trying to tell me it's lunchtime, lady, and you're over here playing around on the internet. All right. Here you go, Pops.
Thank you, Mommy.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Thank you, Mommy.
You're welcome. I went downstairs and bought the whole box. It's like, come on, lady, you're doing too much. So monetization. Obviously, this is what we're talking about, 10K recurring revenue, monetization. You want to look through your monetization strategy. Now, this ties into what the journey you're bringing your customers on, what the journey that you are providing as a provider, a service provider, or whether you have a product, or how it's the transformation that your customers will have over and over and over again as they interact with your business. And when you talk about monetization, there's a way for you to structure that so that you're meeting them along multiple points of their journey, right? And that you're able to monetize at different places in their journey. I'm not talking about price points. I'm talking about places. Remember, when people talk about the pricing of a thing, they're talking about the dollars and the cents. I'm focusing on, and I'm trying to help you focus on the point in which you're servicing your people, because you're transacting with people. It doesn't matter if it's online. It doesn't matter if you ever see them face to face. It doesn't matter if there's a internet, virtual space in between you and your actual end users. They are still people. They are not just a wallet. They're not just a number. They're not a credit card transaction. These are people. And if you interact and keep connecting with people, that's how you're going to have a healthy business. When you put the priorities first in your business, that should be first, right? People, then you're able to literally monetize in the longer term, because you're serving people. You're not thinking about the individual transaction. It's a huge game changer and a shift in how you approach your business and how you approach the products and services that you offer. That transforms everything. So where people tend to tell you, you may have coaches that are like, okay, how much money do you want to make? Then do the math. I told you I'm a math person. I love math all day, and math will always get you where you're trying to go. However, it's not like that when you're trying to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. You're trying to position your brand as the place that the people want to go to. When you want to have them hang around from others, other considerations to be taken into account. And you want to make sure that depending on your product, your service, your business, whatever it is that you have, there is a way for you to, the engagement factor with people may be greater or less. And you need to think through that intentionally and be able to incorporate whatever that percentage is into your products, your service, your experiences that you're providing for your customers, so that you can continue to monetize in the long term. It's just the way it is. We don't keep shopping from places that we're not satisfied. Many of us don't do that. That's not what they do. You don't do that. So don't expect anyone else to do that for you just because you're you. That's not how it works. And if you can literally keep all these things in mind while building on top of a recurring revenue model, it is a game changer for you, which is why, again, so I'm talking about, so we're going to break right now. I hope y'all were writing some questions down. I know I said a lot, and this is the kickoff of this community. So as y'all are going through during your trial, as you're going through, you're not going to see much built. Okay, that's just the reality of it. This is a brand new community, but I will say that we will be diving deep into all these things. But my recurring revenue model obviously is my community that I have launched. And the way that this differs from things that I've done before is, yes, I used to offer one-off courses, one-off experiences, different live events, all those things, and for a transaction amount. The recurring revenue model that I have now is a subscription based. And one of the things that I'm doing, I told you, I'm building what I haven't seen, and I'm building to produce an end result for me and for my clients, for my subscribers, for my community. So one of my goals is to produce $1 million over the next 3 months. Now, when I say produce $1 million, that is literally, it's a collective effort, right? It is a collective effort. It's not me producing $1 million. One day I will get there. My community is not big enough for me to have that goal, but my goal is to bring in individuals who are motivated in order to do that in their business, and collectively we have gotten the community to $1 million, and I have the breakdown of the numbers to do that. So when I say that's what my goal is, I want to be able to produce $1 million. I'm going to get 1,000 people into my community, and each of them are going to do a certain thing. Now, depending on what they want, this is how it goes. Like, again, it's supposed to, I'm not saying these claims based on what I want to see. So I'm going to take you to 10,000 here. I'm going to take you to 10,000 there. Yes, I want people to, my first 1,000 people, I want you all to get to the 10K revenue mark. period. That's it. Monthly recurring revenue, right? I want you to get there. But there's things that need to happen in order to do that. That's not an immediate thing. That's most of y'all are going to be coming from scratch. Most of y'all are just brand new to the thing, or most of you have been doing business this whole time without having a strategy in place. So now we got to roll you back to get you forward. It is what it is. So there's a building that needs to happen. So it's a longer term commitment in order for you to get there. But I'm pretty sure I can get you to your first 5K very quickly. I've been doing that for years. And there's just a couple of tweaks, especially if you're already in business and you haven't seen like a 5K month yet, and you've been business. And I'll tell you, once you know what to do, you do it. When you do it, you can just keep doing it. It's what it is. And then also put some other things in place so that you're also, you have, I can tell you, this recurring revenue model has completely shifted the way I think. And some of the rooms that I'm now in on Clubhouse and the people that I'm now have access to and I'm sitting under who, kind of rolled the hood back in a way. And I'm like, dude, that just is so simple. Why would I not have thought about it? Something as simple as live streaming across multiple platforms. I had been doing this back in Periscope. I did this from Periscope to Facebook, Periscope to Facebook. Back in 2016, I was doing this. And I never thought about it as a strategy. I just thought about it because I just wanted to just kind of do something once and let it live on. But now as a strategy for multiplication and multiplying my effort, my one effort, I think about it and I see it differently. So now this, just what I'm doing and how I am doing it, the returns are just multiplying. I mean, that's the word. It's multiplying. And in order to have the systems and structure in place, that is really where folks have been tripping up. This is what I noticed about my customers who struggled the most to get to the 5K mark and now who will likely continue to struggle to get to the 10K recurring revenue, is not having the structure and the system in place. That is what I have built with my community. So in being a part of this community, you have the ability to leverage the systems that I've built. So I've already paid for a lot of these systems in order to do that. And what you will do is you will build your business initially on my systems, leveraging that. And then once you get to the point where you are now consistently generating revenue, then you go out and buy your own system so you can free up the space on my capacity for someone else. So that is really the differentiator. I've joined a lot of communities and they will have no problem setting me up with an affiliate link of theirs. They haven't, and I'm not knocking that. I have affiliate links of my own, but they have no problem saying, hey, this is the system that you want to use and here's what you want to do. And you use this link to sign up, but we don't know why you're using it. You can't understand why it makes sense for you. Half the time it's an affiliate link for the system that they are now using in their business, not what they started out using in their business. And you're just now starting out and you're trying to shell out all these dollars to use the system that you're being referred to. It is not fair. It's not right. It's not cute. And when I saw that across multiple higher ticket coaches, I'm like, okay, y'all are so out of touch with the people that you're intending to serve. There's got to be a better way. And if I didn't see it, I was going to build it. So that's the impetus behind this community. So yes, the programs and products and services and, being able to have your messaging, being able to create the right messaging for you, understanding your market, all of that, being able to get, your graphics and all of those things together, leveraging my experience as a web and graphic designer. Yes, that's still the same. I've always offered that to clients. That doesn't change. But now you're able to build your business on systems that are there and provided for you at no cost, no additional cost, because you're a part of this community. That's a game changer, because now you're able to build your business without worrying about the cost of software until you actually start generating income from your efforts. I think that I've always been the type of person who wants to, who's all about the underdog. I've been an underdog in my career. I've crushed it in my career. I don't have the degree that they said I needed, and I wasn't going to go get it, but I have the job. That's point blank. Why? Because I learned how to talk about myself. I learned how to brand myself. I learned how to find I was very resourceful, and I took all of that. So no one questioned whether I could do the job. The only question was whether they wanted to take a chance on me, knowing I didn't fit the criteria. And I've gotten multiple people to do that. Why? Because I'm when I'm on it, I'm on it. So I think that when you have an opportunity placed before you, your responsibility is to show up in that opportunity and take advantage of it. And that's what I built. I built an opportunity for someone who's like, I just don't have the funds. Okay, you don't have the funds, you get into my community. My community is $49 a month. Okay, now for the month of October, excuse me, 49.24. 924 is my birthday. I love that number. That's the number that I'm going with. So 49.24 every month for my community. For the month of October, it will be $40 off. It is $9.24 to get in right now. And if you sign up at this price, that's what it will be until you decide it's time to depart ways. You've gotten what you needed. You're at the place that you need to be, and you've outgrown me. That's totally fine too. So that's where it is, and that's how you'll grow. Again, this is brand new. I know what I'm doing to help you get these systems going in your business. And but in terms of streamlining it and how it works as a group model, I'm still working that through. But at the end of the day, this is what you're going to be able to experience. And after October 31st, that price will go up to $19.24. And then on the beginning of the year, it will be the $49.24, because I know the value that I'm giving. At the end of the day, the systems that you can leverage is systems in order to start a coaching practice. So how you're going to meet with your clients in order to get them. So if you're a coach and you need a system to build your coaching around and take your clients through your coaching process, that is one of the systems. Another system that you can leverage is an email marketing system. Another system is a community building system. So you will build your community. Another system is a LMS, a learning management system, So a learning management system to have your course to launch a course and be able to now teach your course and generate sales from your online course. So there are very specific things that I looked for and very specific systems that I looked for. That way you're able to leverage what is working in real time and business models that are actually being monetized now. And then once you have grown and generated enough sales and you're able to now move on, no, this is not teachable. No, this is not some of the other larger softwares, but they work just as well. They do the exact same thing and they are seamless. These, once you're ready to shift over, then you shift over to any of your preferred systems, or you can just keep staying with me and then you would pay a monthly fee. We'll decide what makes sense for you at the point, I think maybe 3 months is what I'm thinking about, that you can leverage my system for 3 months without paying for it. The reason why I want to cap it is I don't want you thinking that you can just stay around forever on these systems, because then I would be doing you a disservice and you're not moving. My goal is to get you to 10K per month within a 3-month time period. So you have the ability to get out there, market your product, your service, your business without having to worry about the systems that are going to be used in your business. When you're ready to have, put your own feet, get on your own feet in your own systems, then you're able to transition that. Me and my team will support you with transitioning it over. Or if you want to stay on my system, then you can in a paid capacity. It can't be free forever. It can't be free forever. That's no way. That's not good business for me. So, but that's what I built. You show me anywhere. You show me a community out there that is dedicated to the growth and the development of their members, and such that they have built an ecosystem of systems that their customers, that their clients and their community members can leverage for free, so that as they're growing, there's a one price they paid. And if you get in now, that price is $9.24, which is absolutely bananas. But the reality is, it is a brand new community. I need your engagement and I need you there to get the feedback, to be able to understand how you're utilizing the system so I can make what I'm building better. So I need to get you in right now. So the quicker I get you in is the easier it is for me to get started, so we can build this thing and go. So that's my community. So with that, I'm going to sign off of Clubhouse. Great having you here. Wisdom, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. And YouTube, thank you all so much again. I'm with you all. Just hang tight. I will shut this off, and then I'm going to start a new broadcast with this question and answer segment. That way, anyone who wants to just listen to the session can do that. And then if they just want to go automatically to the the Q&A or the workshopping piece, they have that ability as well. So 1 second, and I will get this going. Anyone here on Wisdom, Clubhouse, or YouTube that would like to get information on my community, I can post. I haven't even posted the link. That's how new this thing is. That's how fresh this thing is. I've been working on building out just the overall structure over the weekend. I've been planning it out for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and now I'm actually putting the pieces together and getting it out there. So I my email list will go first. Those who are already connected to me will go first. They're the ones who will get this ridiculous rate. And then, truly, I think that a good beginning piece is in November, which is what I'll be promoting all of November through the end of the year, which is that $19.94 price point. And then in the beginning of the year in January, it will be at $49.94 until $49.24 until the point where I decide it's time to increase it. So if you are thinking about it, if you've been following me for a while, my goal is to always bring value. It's never to steer you in a place. I'm not trying to pad my pocket off of anyone else's and try to exploit anyone. My goal is really to see you get where you're going, because in doing that, it is cliche, but I do believe that, rising tide lifts all ships, all boats, all floating marine objects, right? So I don't care what kind of marine object you are, I'm rising. And if you want to rise along with me, then this is an opportunity for you to get into my community. So go ahead and send me a message here on Clubhouse, DM me in the back channel, DM me here on Wisdom, ask me any questions, or I can answer. I wonder if I can answer a question without being asked one. Maybe I can post it on Wisdom, or I can put the link in Wisdom. And then here on YouTube, I guess just leave a comment. I don't even know. This is my first YouTube broadcast. So with that, I appreciate you all. I speak that you all will have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening on the replay. If you're listening on the replay, thank you for watching the video on the replay. I appreciate it if you stuck with me this long, even through all the shenanigans going on and the interruptions. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully we can get Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram on this party in the future. Launch Talk Cafe will be every Monday through the end of this year. I'm taking it 1 week at a time to ensure that I am not overloading myself. So Launch Talk Cafe is where I'll be talking about all things branding, all things launching, so that you can be able to get to your goal, whether you're in my community or not. I can share my experience and advice and help you along your way. So that being said, y'all have a blessed day, and I will talk to you all on the next live. Y'all just hang in 1 second. Let me close this. See you later, Clubhouse. Leave quietly. All right. Thank you for listening, Wisdom. Y'all have an amazing day. And that room and YouTube. Thank you so much. And I will catch y'all another